Season 30 Essence 3 is here. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode, guys. We're going to be talking today about Season 30 Essence 3 because that's what we're getting this week. In this Essence, we're getting the S tier skin for Perfumer called Judith the Dove. We're getting the A tier skin for Wildling called Duke Bluebeard and the A tier skin for Opera Singer Voice Beyond the Stage. In last week's episode, I talked a little bit about the theme of what this Essence is going to be about, but I'm not going to talk about it here. It's mostly just based on a theatre play that is from Hungary, if I remember correctly. What might surprise you is we're not really getting anything else this week. That's all we're getting that's been confirmed by Netties themselves. I believe that this week we should be receiving another Q&A from Netties, so, you know, all the questions that we've asked and all the answers that they've given. So we might see a lot of content announced halfway through or near the end of this week, and that means we'll have a lot to talk about in the next episode. But as far as I know, that's all that's been confirmed this week. There aren't even any Q&As that they've done in the past that hint towards any new features coming out in this week, so kind of a little bit of a disappointment. And that means no character days, absolutely nothing else. I guess it could just be because we've just had Chinese New Year and all the new content was released. How about stuff from the future? Well, again, we haven't really had much announced to us. So what I'm going to talk about now is we're going to talk about what's going on in the China server right now. And remember, this is only available in the Chinese server. You do not get it if you turn your language from your game to from English to Chinese or anything like that. You have to actually connect to the Chinese server. That is something that's very difficult and not really able to be done by the majority of players. Why am I talking about this though? It's because this crossover might be brought over to our server at some point, as they usually do, although it can be with a bit of a delay, maybe a year or so. But let's talk about what they've got right now, because they've got a special crossover called Fei Renzai, and I talked a little bit about it last week. This is an anime. It's about Jiu Yue, who is a nine-tailed fox spirit who is more than 2 centuries old, who's trying to adapt to the modern world. What are they getting? Well, on February 22nd, that would be this Thursday, the patch update for China server, they are getting 3 skin packages. They're getting 1 for mechanic, 1 for journalist, and 1 for professor. The mechanic package contains the mechanic A tier skin called Jiu Yue and the A tier accessory fox doll that changes her doll into a fox doll. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And then there's the journalist A tier package that contains her A tier skin Xiao Yu and the A tier accessory mooncake gift box that also changes little Orphe into a character, I'm assuming, from the anime. And then we've got Professor's A tier skin Ao Lie and his A tier accessory seafood bucket that changes him into like a fox thing that's eating food from a bucket. It's interesting. Doesn't look like Professor at all, but I think that's quite cool. The event will also bring along, of course, portrait frames and graffitis based on all of these skins. I believe it's 3 graffitis and 1 portrait frame. And they also have emotes for each of the characters, 1 for mechanic, 1 for journalist, and 1 for professor, that have kind of been shown what they look like. They're kind of funny. I believe that the journalist skin, or is it the mechanic skin, has a Gatling gun that looks kind of funny. As far as we know, that's all that we know about Identity 5, and I'm looking forward to next week, because hopefully we'll get some good news about maybe a new character, or maybe some crossovers, or even the new season or anything like that. But whilst you're waiting for new content, you should check this video out here on the screen so you can see what most people picked as their first main in Identity 5.